My name's Andrew Sale, I'm the head teacher of Ermine Primary Academy. I'd like to do a quick video just to say thank you to Richard and the whole Digital Media Edge team for the work they've done on our website and for our social media this year. Ermine Primary's website was not fit for purpose in the slightest. It was very outdated, very text heavy, very difficult to navigate, and it didn't tell the story of the school in the slightest. It didn't have any images, it didn't really have any up-to-date or relevant information. It was not a very useful resource for parents or other visitors. We had no social media presence, we didn't have any Twitter, we didn't have YouTube. The only thing we had on Facebook was a closed group, which our Friends of the School group used to communicate with each other and parents on from time to time, but that was pretty much it. Working with Digital Media Edge, the first thing we did was to create a plan. It was almost like the first stage of 4, if you like. And we did just that. We sat down, we met a couple of times, and we drafted out exactly what the plan for the next year would look like, the sorts of things we'd want to eventually see in terms of our website use and in terms of social media. And all those different events that happen in the school, how could we create some interesting and engaging online content using them? So stage 2 really was to work on the website fully, to get that completely compliant first of all. So obviously any inspectors looking at it, for instance, would instantly see that we'd had everything that we needed to have on there. And really from there it was just turning our website into something the parents and other visitors and children as well could actually use and find useful, to find interesting and engaging, to actually see what the flavour of the school is like and to see all those interesting and varied activities and events that go on over the course of the year. How would we use the website to ensure that those things are conveyed to people so they really understood what the school was all about, and it became that incredible advert for the school. Really good examples of that would be first of all my blog. So every month I'd probably produce at least 2 blogs every month, and it would be really my opportunity to engage with the community who's accessing our website, and to engage with the school community as well. So I'd talk about anything really, anything that has that the school's up to. It could be something relating to what was in the media recently. It could be something to do with our trust as a whole. And the other great example would be our digital newsletters. We've started out, handing out pieces of paper to parents, moving on really to getting that piece of paper, if you like, to something more digital so that they can read on the website. But now it's this fully, engaging and document that people can actually click onto to see images, see video clips embedded in it, and it's just much more interesting now. And the thing is, you're more likely to get everyone reading it and engaging with it rather than it being kept in a bag or put in the bin. So stage 3, moving on from website, is really all about the development of the social media side of things. So using Twitter, using Facebook more effectively, using YouTube. Things that we'd really never thought about using before. It was down to DME and their expertise and their planning and their strategy to really sell that to us, and it's made a huge difference. For example, our Twitter account now has 780 followers. And it's full of, not my blogs or newsletters or anything like that. It's full of absolutely everything the children are doing in their classrooms, when they're out and about on visits, when they have visitors in. It's just absolutely fantastic to see all those different events get advertised and displayed somewhere. So it isn't just the school community or the children themselves who are the ones who know about it. Everyone now knows about it and can see exactly what effort and the huge amount of resources and energy that is put into making the curriculum and the children's life at school as engaging as possible. Facebook, we have over 500 followers on Facebook now, and again, very similar to Twitter, everything gets shared by staff, by children's parents, so that gets out to a huge number of people eventually. And then there's YouTube, which has been an absolutely amazing, adaptation to what we'd already looked at previously. But the children just absolutely love using YouTube. They create their own videos, so we have them talking about the values of the school. We have them talking about their e-safety side of things, if they're a representative of school for a certain group. We have our own e-safety videos, so we can use them and show them at any time, and parents can use and show them to their children at any time. We have videos that show what the summer fair was all about. We have videos where the children are talking about the general election that came up. So in terms of what reflects everything in the news, in media, what's important in children's lives and what's important to the school is all there on either all three or certainly one of those different social media platforms. The final stage of the plan, the strategy really is that continuous development of the content. So a lot of the things I've mentioned regarding YouTube and Twitter weren't there from the outset. They took various different meetings, various different discussions with staff and with DME to kind of say, right, well, we've done this bit, we've worked on the website, now what are we going to do next? We've worked on Facebook, now what are we going to do next? And once you are using those platforms, it was then a case of talking to each other around, okay, so how are we going to develop that? What's going to come next? What do we want to do that we haven't done yet? And gradually, if you like, building it up until we're using, as I've already mentioned, YouTube for so many different reasons. That's only come about because the plan was in place initially from stage one, and then we've continually communicated with DME to say, right, I think we're ready now to move on. We're ready to turn our newsletter into something more digital and more interactive. We're ready to add different levels of children engagement in terms of Twitter and YouTube. And the things we do with DME have gradually got larger and larger and larger and more complex and more complicated, and all that does is just shows the school in an even better light every single time something new goes up. It's a slight development or a tweak or an improvement from what went on before. So the school has this amazing platform to advertise what it does now, and if I think back to where we were before all this started, and we just had pretty much a plain text website with a few pictures and literally nothing else, to where we are now, it's an amazing journey and an amazing improvement. And the thing is, people talk about it and people talk about us in such a positive light, and I'd recommend anybody to do exactly the same thing. In terms of ongoing support from DME, it's been faultless, really. It wasn't just a case of turning up, producing a website for us, setting up a Twitter account for us and leaving us to it. DME spent time coming into school training staff how to use Twitter, how to use Facebook. So the school set up a group of teachers who have permissions to post things on those platforms. And they are teachers who are representative from right across the school, so nothing really gets missed at all. And it is very, very simple and straightforward. It doesn't add any additional work onto anybody's already hectic workload. And in terms of DME themselves, they're in talking to the school, talking to myself and talking to that group of teachers every single month. We talk about how the followers are increasing. We talk about how the content could be developed. And we do talk about any issues, if any have cropped up. And it won't be a case of laying the blame at anyone's door. It's a case of working together to overcome any issues. And they've always spent exactly the right amount of time with us if we've needed it, for, to get that support across, to solve any issues we've had, or to retrain staff when something different comes along. In terms of the results from our last 12 months of working with DME, they've been absolutely incredible. I think it's fair to say they've blown us all away. We never really expected it to grow. The rate it has grown in terms of the number of people who are now interested and following what the school is doing. The number of positive comments and positive feedback we get from parents about what the children are doing is absolutely fantastic. In fact, they crave the content now. It's not something that really they see as unusual. And it's not just parents that get to see what the school's doing and what the children are doing. It's other schools, it's other head teachers, it's parents of children from other schools. You can clearly see that from who's sharing things, who's liking things, who's commenting on things. There's a real buzz about the school now because of what's going on social media, and on the YouTube side of it. It's just absolutely brilliant. And to get the engagement of the children in terms of talking about things like why they love reading so much, for example, in school, just to see how interested and engaged they are in just telling everyone else, whoever it is they can manage to see that video, it's just brilliant. They're very proud of what's going on. And if you're worried about putting yourself out there on social media and being bombarded with negativity, which was one of the worries that we had before starting out, it really hasn't worked out like that at all. Literally over the past year, I would probably say we've had one or two things that we needed to sort out. And the thing about doing it on social media is you can instantly reply. There is none of these issues or problems getting out of proportion or going out of control. You have the right to reply on these things, and you can do so immediately. Whether that's commenting on something that's been commented directly, or whether it's like I've done in the past, write a blog based on something, and it stops it dead in its tracks. But the other thing is not to focus on that, because that is completely overwhelmed by the number of positive comments you get as well. So it's never been an issue. It's never been negative. It's never been used for overly negative reasons. It's only been a huge positive. In terms of the staff, we've had no problems getting the staff on board. They can see the value in it straight away. Again, if you're working really, really hard in a classroom, if you're working hard, out on a trip somewhere, why on earth wouldn't you want other people to see what you're doing? Why wouldn't you want to celebrate with your class, with your children, with your parents, the experiences that you're having? Whether that be, like I say, in the classroom, sat at your desk doing some maths work, or out at Gibraltar Point somewhere. That level of engagement from the very basic things you're doing in the classroom to those really exciting experiences you're having, it's all the same. Everyone wants to see what's going on, whatever level it's at. To finish then, I'd just like to say thank you to Richard and to Digital Media Edge for everything they've done for us in the last 12 months, and we can't wait to get stuck into the next 12 months.